What is going on, guys? Wow, what a first game for the Four Nations face off. Canada defeats Sweden 4-3 in overtime at the Bell Center in Montreal. We're going to talk all about the game, and in the background, we're going to have some gameplay of Canada and Sweden. I'm going to play against the Superstar AI and see how I fare. But man, what a game. That and I was very excited going into this. I had high hopes. I thought it was gonna be a great tournament, and it really that first game definitely lived up to the. I won't even say hype because I don't think the NHL really hyped the tournament up the way that they could have, but nonetheless, it really that game showed why we need best on best hockey at the international level every year. Every year, I don't care. Just get rid of the All Star game. We don't need it. We don't need the All Star game. Just do that. Do that. And man, it's just what a game. Like that was awesome. And the first off, I mean, I'll talk about the atmosphere, just everything going leading up to that puck drop. Thought it was great getting the ambassadors at a game of all the countries having. So, thought it was interesting that they brought in Matthews and Barkov for that face side. I don't know that was a little bit odd. I mean, I guess I get it. You know, we're like, okay, we're dropping the puck on the tournament. Let's get everybody from all the countries out there. But that was a little interesting. But having Alfredson come out, having Lemieux and Richter, and who am I missing? Who am I missing? Is that everybody? Alfredson, Richter, Lemieux, Solani. They had come out for Finland. That was awesome. The reception that Lemieux got, oh my god, that was electric. That was electric. That was everything that you expected from a Montreal crowd. Just building was raucous, energy was great, and the puck drops and Canada just right away. I mean, you get a goal early on. McKinnon on that power play that people were talking about going into the tournament. McKinnon scores from Crosby and McDavid, and I mean they're just off and running. Literally a minute into the game, and I mean it's looking like it's going to be a blowout. Just the way that it felt, buildings going crazy, and sure enough, you get another goal from Canada a little bit later in the period. Marchand scores because, of course, he does, right? Of course, Brad Marchand scores. I'll talk a little bit more about the first goal. Just want to give you guys like the scoring of that period. So Marchand gets the last goal of the first period, makes it 2-0 from a feed from Braden Point, and I believe secondary assist goes to Seth Jarvis. So first goal, obviously, power play. And it comes off a pass from Crosby to McKinnon. McDavid gets the secondary. Crosby, my God, this guy, you know, just when you think he's going to show signs of being human and, maybe, he's coming into the tournament a little injured and, he's older. Maybe this is going to be the tournament that, he's more of a secondary role, right? Like, that's I'm sure that's what a lot of people were thinking. I will never count out Crosby. I didn't think he was going to have this amazing of a game, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised one bit. This guy has just been such a gamer, not only for Canada, but for Pittsburgh over the years. And to just, I mean, that pass to McKinnon is unreal. Like, that was a phenomenal pass. Like, to do that, on the power play, huge game. I know, it's early in the game, but like to set the tone for your team that early. Speaking of Crosby, you got the puck here. Oh, that's not what Crosby did in the game. But great pass, great goal, and Canada looked really good in that first period, and you get that mark. Oh, there's Crosby. There we go. But Canada looked great. Marchand tucks one on a 2-on-1. Great pass from Point. That third line was great for them. Marchand's another gamer, man. Like, he shows up for Canada in these freaking tournaments. He did great in the World Cup of Hockey in 2016, and he comes and is on Team Canada, and people might say, should Marchand have been on this team? Maybe there were better options. Is he having the greatest year compared to some of these guys? No, but I don't know. So some of these guys, it's like when it comes to these big games, they just show up, and Marchand's just one of those guys. And great goal. Again, Canada just complete control in that first period. Like, it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Sweden looked asleep. They weren't. I mean, asleep's putting it lightly. Like, they did not show up in that first period. Sweden was just lost. They didn't have a shot for a really long time. I think the shots in the first ended up being like 7-3 maybe, but uh, it was just a very, very quiet period from Sweden. And, a lot of people were kind of, everybody's up in arms. This tournament's stupid and Sweden sucks and whatever. And I'm sitting there and watching. I'm like, all right, guys, it's one period. Yeah, it was a bad period, but let them settle in and they'll figure it out. And sure enough, they did. You get a goal in the second period from Jonas Brodin, set up by Victor Hedman and Lucas Raymond. And to finish off the scoring in the second period, Mark Stone answered to make it 3-1 Canada. We'll talk about both goals, but Stone scores also from Crosby. And Canada up 3-1 at the end of the second. But going back to Brodin's goal, it's about halfway through the period, and it's starting to see some trading, a little bit trading of chances. You have the long change, obviously, because we switch sides. And, Sweden's looking a little better. They're getting some looks. Canada's getting looks too. And Brodin scores on a shot that I'm sure a lot of people were probably up in arms about. And there were definitely a lot of people that were, oh my God, how did that go in? There were a lot of people that were kind of up in arms about Bennington being the number one goalie, Bennington even being on the team, as for Aiden Hill and Sam Montembeault, right? There were a lot of questions going in, and Bennington getting the start. There were people that were definitely not sure about it, and that first goal goes in against him, and everybody's going crazy, saying, oh my God. Listen, it's a hockey game. You're going to give up a bad goal. It happens, Oh my goodness, Marchand's popping off for me here. But yeah, definitely a shot that you'd want back. But it's a good play by Sweden, good entry, and play just kind of ends up being a broken play. Gets over to Brodin, and he just rips it and just beats him clean. And you got a 2-1 game, but Canada answers. Stone answers. Not about 8 minutes later, from another primary assist for Crosby. The puck protection for Crosby is probably, I think, maybe it wasn't what Crosby was when he was younger, but now, like in the later stages of his game, his puck protection is just insane. It's insane, and seeing it on that goal, the Stone goal, like just throwing guys off him, turning around, just calming the game down, letting the game come to him, finding the right pass, giving it to Stone, and Stone makes no mistake. And you got a 3-1 game, and going into the third period, it kind of looks like, all right, Canada's gonna take over and just kind of coast to a win here. But it's not what happens. Sweden pushes back. They stay with it, and early in the third period, Adrian Kempe scores for Sweden from Erik Karlsson and Mattias Ekholm. And there you go. You see that. A lot of activity from Sweden's defense. I mean, you had Brodin scoring the first goal, Hedman with an assist, Karlsson, Ekholm getting assists. And this was something we were talking about going into the tournament that, yeah, I mean, Sweden's got a really good defense, and they lived up to their billing tonight. I mean, they played great, active offensively, great defensively, really stifled Canada after a bad first period. I mean, the defense for Sweden was solid. It was as advertised. So they both get assists, Ekholm and Karlsson, on that Kempe goal. And it's just a clean shot, just clean snipe. And I mean, for anybody that knows Adrian Kempe from the LA Kings, I mean, that guy's a shooter, shoot first player, can rip it with the best of them, and just good shot. It beats Bennington, and more people are angry because every goal's going in against Bennington is, oh my God, any other goalie would have stopped that. It's like, all right, guys, yeah, maybe a different goalie, would have been ideal, but it is what it is. You got Bennington in net, and you got to work with them, and that's just a good shot. It's a good shot. It's not like, really like any of these goals. Like, yes, could Bennington have stopped that puck? Absolutely, but he didn't. Puck goes in. Is that a goal that I'm like, oh my god, it's brutal, terrible? No, I don't think it was that bad of a goal. I think it's a good shot. It's an NHL player ripping it at an NHL goalie, and he beat him. You know what happens? Same for the Brodin goal. But anyway, moving on. A little bit later in the period, about halfway through, Joel Eriksson Ek ties it up for Sweden to make it 3-3. Assist going to Jesper Bratt and Lucas Raymond with his second assist of the game. 3-3 game, nice pass backdoor. Eriksson Ek has, all the time in the world to just lift it over Bennington, and just a nice play, nice pass, good finish, and Sweden makes it a freaking hockey game. And kind of just like the overall flow of the game, it's like Canada dominated the first period. Second period, I would say, was pretty back and forth. Even flow to the game. Third period, Sweden outscores them. They tie it, but just another kind of, it's back and forth. There's chances. Canada had great chances. I mean, there was a chance by Devon Toews and in the third that Gustafsson just absolutely robbed him. And this is where when the game really started picking up, is when you start to realize oh, man, this is gonna be a great tournament. And I would say that was the second period. Like, once you start seeing, all right, the teams are settled in, the butterflies are gone, and we're just playing hockey now. And you kind of just start to see, the physicality ramp up, and players really, it started feeling more real as the game went along. Whereas maybe in the first period, it kind of felt, honestly, the first period to me kind of felt like an all-star game a little bit. That's kind of what it looked like. And not to say the players weren't competing, they were, but it's just like the intensity wasn't there yet. And I think that was just kind of, again, settling into the game. And once they settled in, oh my God, man, it got good. It got good. And yeah, those final two periods were great. Lots of chances, great saves from both goalies. And we go to overtime. And in overtime, it's Mitch Marner scoring for Canada again from Crosby, who actually did get, I think that was his second shift in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. And Marner with just a great shot, beats the goalie clean. And, I mean, just great patience from Crosby to turn back, slow the game down, realize you don't have a clean look in overtime. All right, let's reset. And it's just great pass to Marner, and Marner just absolutely rips it and wins it for Canada. And obviously there's a whole bunch of chances before that in the OT for both teams. There's a broken stick for Canada, and I don't know who went backdoor on that play, but Sweden hits a guy backdoor. Great save by Bennington. Zibanejad had a chance, one-timer. Bennington made a nice save. McKinnon was unbelievable in the overtime. Like, every time he touched the puck, you're like, oh my God, is he going to skate in and freaking snipe it? His trademark, just galloping down the left side, cutting to the middle, trying to snap it home. I mean, great. If there's anybody in the game that I was like, man, kind of expected a little more from, it was kind of McDavid. He gets a secondary assist. He had some chances, but for McDavid, I mean, he's pretty quiet. So that was interesting. We'll see how he responds in the next game against the U.S. on Saturday. But overall, again, this was just a really good game. Just high flying, good physicality, good hitting, lots of chances. And again, to me, it showed why why we need international hockey so badly. And I missed it. I didn't get to watch much of the 2016 World Cup. I obviously I watched a little bit of it, and I've seen highlights. I know what happened, but I didn't watch that tournament as much as I would have liked to. Being that the NHL didn't go to the Olympics after that and didn't have any more World Cups, and it's been freaking 9 years since we had international best on best hockey. If I had known that we weren't going to be able to watch a game of international best on best hockey for 9 years. I would have been glued to the TV in 2016. So, um, this game coming on, I watched it. I was there. I was watching the pregame. I don't remember the last time I watched a pregame for a hockey game. I was watching TNT's pregame. I was super excited just to see, this game. And even though I'm not Canadian, I'm American, so I'll be watching tomorrow. I'm pretty excited to see the Americans play. Um, but I was still excited to see Canada and Sweden. Like I just as a hockey fan, I'm like I just want to see this game. I want to see some international hockey because we've been deprived for so long. And there's so much conversation about this team isn't there, that team isn't there. And yes, it sucks. It would be nice if we had everybody at the tournament, but it is what it is. You got to make do with what you can, and this is the tournament that we were given, and I'll take this over the All-Star game any day, any day. And it lived up to it. And I think if this doesn't remind people like how great international hockey is and how great it can be, I don't know what will. Just a game that started slow but just turned into an absolute gem. And yeah, it was good to see it again. It was good to see some international hockey, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this tournament. As for how it goes from here, Canada gets 2 points. They don't get the full 3 because it was an overtime win. Sweden gets a point, so should be. I mean, that Canada-U.S. game is going to be nuts. That's all I have to say. That game is going to be crazy, and Sweden. I guess Sweden's next game should be Finland, right? Should be Finland. I believe that'll be Saturday as well, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it should be great. It should be great to see how it plays out. Interesting, like seeing this team, how they were constructed, how Canada was constructed, play. I thought first period they looked like they were really, clicking, and it was working well. And then kind of as the game went along and Sweden started to push back, you kind of saw Canada almost. I don't know how I would put it, but they slowed down, and I think if Canada's gonna find a way to win in this tournament and beat the U.S., because I think that is what it's gonna come down to. I really do. If they're gonna find a way to beat the Americans, they have to have more confidence in their game. Like Crosby looked super comfortable, super confident in his game, not an ounce of doubt in that guy's game. Like he knew what was on the line, he knew the level that he had to play at, and he did he did what Crosby does. And just had a great that type of performance is what you would expect from the entirety of the team. It shouldn't just be Crosby showing up at that level, because again, I don't think McDavid was at that level for them. I'd say McKinnon showed up. McKinnon definitely showed up for them, but kind of quiet from Reinhart. A little quiet. Who else was kind of quiet for the Canadians? The third line was good. The third line was really good, for sure. I mean, it's not like. Yeah, you expect more. You expect more. You expect the game to kind of come to them, and I feel like Crosby was really the only one that was just like truly driving it. Honestly, Marner until that goal wasn't great. Like wasn't really as involved as he started to pick up as the game went along. Definitely, like third period, he looked pretty good, but definitely want to see more out of him, especially coming off that goal in overtime. You hope that builds up his confidence for the next game, because you're going to need it against the Americans. You're going to need it against the Americans. And I got to say, if if they give up some of those chances that they did to Sweden, Matthews is going to score them, right? Matthews is going to score those goals, and Hughes is going to score those goals. So Makar was kind of quiet too, actually. Now that I think about it, playing with him here in the game, he was a little bit of a quiet game for him. He had some looks, but expect some more from Makar. So there's more to give for Canada, which is a good thing, right? You come out with a win, right? You come out with a win, which is good for Canada. You know, because definitely don't want to lose that first game and be in a must-win situation against the U.S. So you win the first game. Was it perfect? No, but you take the win and you build off what was good. And I mean, the ingredients are there for them. The ingredients are there. They're definitely the team to beat right there with the U.S. and definitely want to see some more out of some guys going into that next game. Sweden's gonna have to rebound. They definitely Sweden looked solid in that second and third and in overtime too. Sweden could have won that overtime. They had chances in overtime. They definitely could have won it, and I don't think I don't think Sweden should hang their heads on that game. I mean, first period, yeah, you don't want to show up to the game against Finland with a quiet first period like you did tonight if you're Sweden. But overall, they played solid. Shots end up being 28-26, right? That's a good game. It's a good game. You play a good game. You lose by a goal in overtime, right? But again, the margin for error in this tournament is so small. Sweden's going to have to find a way to come out on top in the next one or they're done. So should be great to watch. Tomorrow we'll have the U.S. and Finland. Definitely looking forward to that. I think it'll be equally as entertaining. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Thank you so much for watching our little review of the game here, kind of recap. Awesome first game, and on to the next one. On to the next one. Should be a great rest of the tournament. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of game one. How you feeling, whether you're a fan of Canada or Sweden or neither of them, and you just watched like I did and just kind of, as a neutral party. What'd you think? Did you enjoy it? And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to hit like and subscribe if you liked the video. It goes a long way. And I will catch you guys in the next one.